Welcome, dear listeners. I'm Jonathan Carlin.
And I'm Benjamin Carlin.
And we invite you to join us through the Griffin door, your one-way ticket to the enchanting world of Harry Potter. So grab your wands and dust off your broomsticks and join us as we unlock the dark corridors inside Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 1, Dudley Demented.
Oh, the dark corridors.
The dark corridors.
That's pretty good. That's
Right?
pretty good because the dark corridors are a pretty big
It's like,
part.
like a big part of the whole thing.
It's like the mystery. You
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
I was looking back. I was like, what are the other words we've used so far? Make sure I didn't really do anything. I'm like, certainly we use secrets for Chamber of Secrets. And I was like, we actually use secrets for book 1. So that was a mistake.
So if when we finish this whole read through, we start a new read through, at least we'll know. Like
we'll
get
exactly.
it right.
We know.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was going to be a big deal in the first book. You know, I was like, I'll just probably say secrets every time. But
Right. Yes. Yeah. So I think the thing that all the listeners at home need to keep in mind is that this whole first pass that we've been doing in like the 2 years that will follow everything from here going forward, this is the rough draft.
This is the rough draft. You know?
And then
the polished cut.
We'll do the polished cut next.
You know, I say that, but the whole thing was we stopped using secrets because if I said unlock the secrets inside the Chamber of Secrets, that was going to sound dumb.
Oh, you're right.
That's how this all started.
So maybe we had it all figured out in the first
maybe we
place.
got it, yeah.
Okay. We're there anyway.
All right.
We're inside of a new book. We're inside of Order of the Phoenix.
We are.
Chapter 1, Dudley Demented. Goodness me. I don't know if this is like somebody gave Mary Grand Prix like a bit more budget for chapter art, but I can't help but feel like this one's rather elaborate.
It's big.
You know, and
big.
maybe it's just because it's like a chapter 1 type situation, because a Peck of Owls chapter 2 is pretty basic.
It's pretty basic.
You know,
it's just sort of like Mrs. Fig.
But we got a depiction here of our boy HP hiding out amongst the hydrangeas.
We do. Although is it to me like when he stands up later, he like hits his. I always imagine there's like window shutters that like open and shut, and like that's what he's hitting his head on.
Yeah. There's a oh my gosh, if I hadn't even thought to ask, there's a casement window. Is the kind of window that has like that like little like knobby lever thing that like pops out. And you like rotate it and like opens up. All I can figure is that it's more of like a casement window type situation, or something where the window is not just like a. This is what is depicted here is a double hung window.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
and that's like 2 windows that are doubly hung. You know, one on top, one on bottom. So
so that you can just slide one up in front of the other.
Precisely that. Yes, indeed. Can you tell I'm shopping for windows for my house right now?
I can tell. And you're like, hey, based on the artwork and the description of what happened to Harry's head, this doesn't add up, Mary Gompray.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I actually do think it's quite a delightful one. And Harry's like growing up. Our boy's getting big.
Oh, no. He's getting so much taller. He's like, I think in year 1, he's described as being like kind of short for his age. And now he's like all hitting puberty and stuff in more ways than 12,
Yeah. It's true. Yep. He's becoming
moaning in his sleep and stuff.
Oh gosh, such out of context.
I know. I feel like for a second that's what Harry thinks he means. He's like, what do you mean I'm not brave in bed?
It's like, I'm fine.
I'm fine. It's not really relevant yet or anything. But,
I'm waiting for the right person. It's fine.
It's fine. It's just,
No, I know what you mean. But no, what I also think is interesting about this though is that we just exited Goblet of Fire, obviously, and there is this line that is kind of fascinating as it pertains to like where Harry kicks off. Because it says, this was in Goblet of Fire. He supposed that Privet Drive would be hot and leafy. Its flower beds, a riot of color.
Riot of color.
Right. Which is, it's always interesting the way that, like color is used in the Harry Potter series to like describe things. Like emerald green is certainly always going to be better than like puke green.
Right.
Well, not just in the Harry Potter series. That's true.
That's just true.
In all narratives. It's hard to describe things as puke green in like a positive
way.
Right. Yeah. But I do think it's kind of interesting because he's thinking before he leaves school about how it will be hot and leafy and the flower beds. And here it's kicking off and it's very hot and he's lying amongst the leaves and the flowers of the flower beds.
Yes. Although it's not like blooming with color. It says it's lay parched and yellowing.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Yes. So there's a significant amount of drought that has hit the city.
Right. And just like fun fact, this is actually in the book, this is happening in 1995, and in like the Britain area in the summer of 1995, there was a water ban.
Was there really?
Yes.
Did you go and look that up?
Yeah. Well, yes, I did.
Nice. I love that. I love that. Okay. Well, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and kick things off.
Actually, Ben, let's do a little bit more.
Oh.
Because this is the first, so we can look at the cover art on this one as well.
Hey, you're right. You can look at the cover art.
Yeah.
The fun fact that we have been informed by listeners of the show is that the kind of pencil drawing sketch cover art that we have that we've been using for the entire Through the Gryffindor experience, if you set them side by side, make like a big continuous like image.
Yeah. In fact, if you look on the inside of the cover, you can sort of see it a little bit lined up.
You can, yeah. So there's like a very serpentine shape that is sort of like filling a lot of the a lot of the
artwork. It's actually, I think it's actually Nagini. That's the snake you're seeing the whole time.
That's Nagini. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we get like a picture of her head somewhere?
Yeah, in Deathly Hallows. Way down there at the bottom, you see the head of the snake.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that. It's just been going the whole time. And then there's the sword.
There's the sword.
Oh man, so you're gonna get your head chopped off.
Get your head chopped off.
We're seeing a lot of stuff going on inside of this this particular cover, though. It's a very Harry centric one where I feel like we've had like Hermione's prominently featured on Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry, Ron, Hermione featured on Chamber of Secrets. Harry's really the main one in Sorcerer's Stone, but then you've got like the other champions for Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
But, this one's got major Harry and then Umbridge.
Yeah. So if you want to like not like, I don't know how intentional or anything it would be, but if you look back at like the first cover where it's for Sorcerer's Stone, it's like you've got a big image of Harry and then right behind him is Hedwig, this like the image of innocence. And this is the first one since then where it's been like a big image of Harry's face, but now behind him is Umbridge instead of Hedwig. Like basically the exact opposite.
You have a very foreboding face.
It is
as well. And it was honestly a bold strategy on behalf of the publisher to put Umbridge so prominently on
right there.
It's like you expect people to purchase the book, right? And
right.
it's like,
Yeah, there she is. And then right down in the corner, I feel like there's Firenze on the cover, which I'm like, I'm not sure how big a deal Firenze is in this book, but there he is.
There he is. Yeah. I mean, I guess you've kind of got the whole situation where like, he's going to come and teach. I guess you've got, is it planets kind of going on over there? Is that like a Department of Mysteries thing?
Or is it like the prophecy orbs?
Or it could be the prophecy orbs.
I guess it could be either. Yeah. Right. And then you've got the Dementors kind of above Firenze there, which will show up right here in the first chapter.
Yeah. Right away. Yeah. This book really kicks off with action just plumb out of the gate.
Right. And then actually where you see Firenze, it looks like he's standing in like a river. That's actually Dumbledore's beard from the next book.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's kind of funny.
Yeah. So don't you might think it's a river, but in fact it's facial hair.
It's facial hair. Yes. Here on the cover.
Anyway, but so yeah, that brings us into chapter 1, Dudley Demented. Do you want to kick us off with the first sentence?
Oh yeah, I sure
do,
because it's a good one. Yeah. Okay. The hottest day of the summer so far was drawing to a close, and a drowsy silence lay over the large square houses of Privet Drive. And then the dragons arrived. It's such a nice dreary day, and then
but yeah, it's like it's just calling for some action, which to be fair is coming.
It's coming.
Yeah,
for sure.
There's going to be some excitement there. Let's see here. Yeah, so we kind of get the description. Cars that were usually gleaming stood dusty in their drives, and lawns that were once emerald green lay parched and yellowing. The use of hose pipes had been banned due to drought, although it's not stopping the neighbors down the street from still running it at 3 a.m. I
know,
right?
but doesn't Vernon also do that?
I feel like he does.
I feel like he does. Yeah.
I mean, it's like that's the kind of thing where it's like when you've committed a negativism. Man, there's a
crime.
That's what. Yeah, we'll go with crime. I feel like it makes it easier to spot. It's like
you're so aware of it.
You know the moves
exactly,
and then that's how you know how to spot other people because he's up at 3 a.m. watering his own yard, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing down there?
You're not supposed to. I'm supposed to be watering the yard. That's not what I'm doing.
That's not what I'm doing.
This is a pesticide or something.
Way better.
Yeah. Middle of the night.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, let's see here. Privet Drive had retreated into the shade of the inhabitants of Privet Drive had retreated into the shade of their cool houses, windows thrown wide in the hope of tempting in a non-existent breeze.
Windows thrown wide sounds like it's like shutters opening, If you're opening a window wide, right?
Yes, absolutely. You're right. I mean, it does seem like you're like opening the window like outwardly into the open air. The other thing I think is kind of interesting about this is that I believe that air conditioning is just generally like less used in this part of the world.
Oh, right.
Like that they're opening their windows to try to cool off because we like, where we live, it's so hot that you just have a way to keep cool.
You just have a way to keep cool.
Otherwise you would just cook.
Yeah, exactly. So AC, but I guess not where they live.
Right.
But then the only person left outdoors was a teenage boy who was lying flat on his back in a flower bed outside number 4. So this is an interesting sentence because, and I feel like this is of course what you're seeing in the chapter art, but it's like right away, it's like the only person outside is Harry. And it's like, that's how Harry's going to kind of be the whole book, just kind of like isolated, just like by himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's honestly, I mean, when you go back to that cover thing where it's like you've pretty much just got like Harry, Umbridge, and like friends, it's like that's another one where it's like it really is just Harry.
Yeah.
Like or at the very least, the feeling he's going to be feeling. I say it's just Harry as if Dumbledore's army is not going to be invented into this book.
Right.
And, I mean, Hermione and Ron are doing their darndest to be there for him.
Yeah. Harry's a little determined to be isolated in this one.
Right. Yeah. So just as long as we're covering all of our bases there. But you're absolutely correct. Yeah. The sense of isolation is something that Harry is going to feel in massive ways throughout the course of the book.
Yes. But also similar to a lot of things in this book, things are not ever as they seem because it says the only person left outdoors, but that's not true. Mundungus Fletcher is also out there. And unbeknownst to Harry, Mr. Tibbles is watching him as well.
There you go. Yeah. Right. You're correct. The half-Kneasel.
The half-Kneasel.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Yes. That's a good catch. Let's see here. So the thing that the reason that Harry is hiding inside of the flower bread though is because
the flower bread.
It sounds like bread for flowers, flour for bread.
Yeah.
But the reason that Harry's in the flower beds rather is because he is attempting to listen in on the evening news, something that is going to bother Petunia and Vernon to a level
end
that I just can't fully understand.
It's like it bothers them, and they're also there's like just hypocrisy in their own statement, and we'll get there in a second. It says Harry Potter's appearance did not endear him to the neighbors. This is another one of those, like, Vernon is caught between a rock and a hard place in some ways. Like how he's like, I want Harry to be miserable, but I also don't want him in the house. So if I let him go to the Quidditch Cup, he'll be happy, but he won't be here.
Right.
So it's like his appearance did not endear him to the neighbors. Like the Dursleys care so much about their appearances and their looks. And it's like, people know where Harry lives. And it's like, part of them is like, we need to deprive Harry of nice creature comforts like clothes that fit. But also, I guess that means we're going to have to deal with people knowing we're not dressing him or something. It's like it seems like they are fighting a battle between the perception of their household and being nice to Harry.
Yes, you're exactly right. And it's like, it's even going to show up a little bit later as well, where like the other kids of the neighborhood have become far more afraid of Dudley than they are of, quote, that Potter kid.
That
Potter boy, who despite the fact that they had been warned, was a hooligan who attended St. Brutus's Secure Center for Incurably Criminal Boys. Dudley is still the one who is out there just like beating up kids and wreaking havoc. So you're right. I mean, the hypocrisy is just flying in this chapter, where it's like they're so worried about how Harry's going to ruin their reputation, and Dudley's out there doing it for them. So anyway, so glad to see the boys stop trying to butt in. Where is he anyway?
The boy.
The boy. Yeah. I don't know, said Aunt Petunia unconcernedly. Not in the house. Uncle Vernon grunted. Watching the news, he said scathingly. I'd like to know what he's really up to, as if a normal boy cares what's on the news.
What could he think he's possibly up to?
I have no idea. I love this next line too. Dudley hasn't got a clue what's going on. I doubt he knows who the prime minister is.
Right.
And I'm like, and that's good?
That's a good thing?
Like that's what you're pushing for.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Right.
Like that can't possibly be correct.
I know. He also says, anyway, it's not as if there's be anything about his lot on our news. And it's like, Sirius Black was on the news 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
you knew about that. You watched the news. Harry was there.
Right.
You know Sirius is his godfather, right? Right?
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, then we get Mrs. Harry listened to a jingle about fruit and bran while they watch Mrs. Fig, a batty cat-loving old lady from nearby Mysteria Walk, amble slowly past. She was frowning and muttering to herself. She's actually not muttering to herself. She's sort of muttering to Mundungus, telling him not to go do exactly what he's going to do.
Which is like something for like a bunch of stolen cauldrons?
Stolen cauldrons.
Nice.
Now that they got them thick bottoms again, they're back then. The market is flying.
That's right. That's right. So we all have Percy to thank for that.
Recognize Percy's role in what happens tonight.
Yes. The thing I like though about bringing Mrs. Fig up by name at this particular moment is that we've only ever heard her referred to as Mrs. Fig before.
Yeah.
But we've also just heard her name, I believe, either in the last chapter or second to last chapter of Goblet of Fire, where Dumbledore basically instructs Sirius?
Sirius to go get Remus Lupin, Arabella Fig, Mundungus Fletcher, the old crowd.
The old crowd, yes. So it's funny because it's like, this is one of those where if you were a deep diving, eagle-eyed, like reader of the series as the books were coming out, maybe you surmised that Arabella Fig is Mrs. Fig, but like to me at the point in time that I was reading this particular book, I wasn't dialed in like that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like it had not at all occurred to me that Arabella Fig and Mrs. Fig were the same person.
No, I know. But in fact, that was a big theory. People did pick up on that one in
They
particular.
did, okay.
Well, because from Sorcerer's Stone through Goblet of Fire, the books came out 1 year after the other, but there was a 3-year gap between Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix.
Oof.
And so people had time to think.
Yeah. And think I'm sure they did.
And because at that point, by the time Goblet came out, I think Harry Potter mania was really in full swing.
Yes, definitely. Yep. And I like this line here too as well. It says Mrs. Fig had recently taken to asking him around for tea whenever she met him in the street. This is basically like as a member of the Order of the Phoenix, she's just trying to keep a close eye on him.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And Harry, bless him, he's just like, no one's contacting me.
It's like Mrs. Fig is. You are being alerted by like one of the key members.
Yeah, right? I mean, it does seem like maybe she could be like, I'm part of the Order of the Phoenix.
Well, as is so often the case, it's like the missing information that's left between the panels is half the time all that would be required to make everybody feel better about what's going on.
Yes.
However, that's not how plot works.
No, it's not. But anyway, so he gets to overhear where Petunia and Vernon think Dudley is at the Polkuses getting tea. Oh, he's got so many little friends. Just the Polkuses. That's Piers Polkus, who was the kid who went to the zoo with them in year 1. So just a nice bit of continuity there.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Yes.
So at the very least, Dudley is good enough at maintaining friendships that he has kept this same friend for 5 years.
Yes.
This is also the child that we have once theorized could possibly be Peter Pettigrew's own son.
Yeah.
Because you've got the Piers Polkus, the Peter Pettigrew. You got like
it's very like PP of it all, and he's got like a rat face, is how they describe him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very. Yep. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this is almost confusing to me because it says Harry knew perfectly well Dudley had not been to tea anywhere. He and his gang spent every night vandalizing the play park, smoking on street corners, and throwing stones at passing cars and children. And I'm like, goodness me, this is a neighborhood where people super duper duper care about the cleanliness and order of everything. And there are 5 teenagers roaming the streets, throwing rocks at driving cars and children, and no one's noticed.
I know this seems so shocking because it's like you want to classify all of the tenants of, Privet Drive, Wisteria Walk, Magnolia Crescent as like the same version of, hypocritical whatevers. But it's like if you've ever spent any time in a neighborhood that possesses a homeowners association, they don't usually allow stuff like this.
No one's gonna allow kids to throw rocks at kids.
No. Good clarification.
Yeah. If my kids were outside throwing rocks at cars that were driving past, I would hear about it one immediately.
One immediately.
One immediately.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man,
Yeah, I don't know who they think they're kidding here. This is ridiculous.
Right, but either which way, Harry has also been out, stomping these same grounds.
You know it.
And he is spending most of the holidays wandering the streets, scavenging newspapers from bins along the way.
It is baffling to me that he is like scavenging Muggle newspapers and not reading the wizard ones.
Well, that is rather shocking.
Yeah.
But the thing that I think is kind of funny about this is that I think Sirius basically has taught him this trick in Goblet of Fire, where he like says that he's doing the same thing, like nicking papers out of bins.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, just like just like my godfather would do.
Exactly. Let's see. And then so the news starts, and perhaps after a month of waiting, he'll hear word of something. But it's like a maybe he'll hear something, but also he doesn't really want to hear something.
Right. Yes. And it seems like he's having a kind of like anxiety circuit that you can only imagine would just drive even the best of us absolutely mad.
Yeah.
Because he's basically like building up a massive amount of anxiety every night that he's going to hear something on the news that indicates that Voldemort's wrath is being unleashed upon the public. And every night it will be immediately like quelled because there is no news of anything of the sort. And he will feel this great sense of relief and feel like a lot better, only to realize that now you have to wait and go through the whole same process again the next day.
Right. And the fact that it isn't being reported means that people still don't know he's back, which is also bad news. So
Also,
it's like,
yes.
Good news is bad news, but like the no news is bad news, and bad news is bad news, and good news is bad news. So
Right.
it's like, there's no really good thing for him to be here. And honestly, but this feeling, the tension, the expectation, the temporary relief, and the mounting tension again, always growing more insistent all the time. The question of why nothing, this reminds me so much of just being a teenager, though. Not, worrying about the Dark Lord coming back or anything, but
Sure.
I remember feeling this way in teenage relationships and constantly needing that reassurance and the insecurity that maybe the person you're with doesn't really like you, or they're going to leave you, and you're you need the reassurance, and you're like, oh, good, thank goodness. But wait a second.
I know it's I feel good for now, but then it's
Feel
2
good.
days have passed and it's a lot of time's passed.
A lot of time has passed. I don't know.
I know. I actually remember a period of time in high school where going on vacation, with the family, stopped being fun because it always felt like, well, they're going to forget about me.
They're going to forget about me.
And it's so now I'm leaving for 7 days.
Right.
7 precious days.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to move on.
They're going to move on. What can happen? Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, man. High school's tough.
But that is what Harry's dealing with.
It is what he's dealing with, except for a much more tragic version of it.
Yes.
Anyway, so then the first piece of news that comes up, and this is total trivia alert, is record number of stranded holiday makers fill airports as Spanish baggage handler strike reaches its second week.
There you go.
There you go. I tried to look up to see if whether or not this was a real thing, and I got a prompt right away, the Spanish baggage handler strike on Google, and I was like, oh, it was a thing. And then I clicked on it, and it was the Harry Potter wiki talking about this.
Oh, that's so funny.
I know.
Oh man. And then Harry kind of has a sigh of relief because he feels like if it's anything to do with Voldemort, it's going to be murder and disappearances and stuff like that. But it goes on to say, then after that, it says, followed by news on the drought in the southeast. And Harry's just sort of yeah, nothing's going to be happening here. And there's then a helicopter that had almost crashed in a field in Surrey. And he's Harry's writing all this off. But I think, is it just the next book or maybe in Deathly Hallow? I think it's the next book, right?
Yeah, it's the next book. The other minister.
The other minister, where guess what? He's oh, the Dementors are responsible for all this mist. So it's actually Voldemort is affecting the weather. And it's it looks like there was a hurricane up north. And it's that's not that different from the helicopters almost crashing. And I think even Draco in year 1 says something I almost got spotted by a helicopter on my broom or whatever. And it's maybe these could be more magically related than you think. You don't know.
Right.
Exactly this kind of news is going to start happening, and it is going to be Voldemort, but I don't know.
The Brockdale Bridge.
The Brockdale Bridge, governor.
Yeah. No, I know. So you're absolutely right. And I was trying to look at all these pieces of news and try to figure out if there's ever any other plot related circumstances that might connect them to anything.
I don't think they do.
There's nothing specific that immediately jumps to mind, but if there's anybody out there who's wait, I've got it. Here we go. Let us know. The last little piece there though is a famous actress's divorce from her famous husband. And then Petunia chimes in as if we're interested in their sordid sordid affairs, despite the fact that she had been obsessively reading the case in every magazine she could lay her bony hands on.
I know. I'm like, who could that possibly be? An actress's divorce from her famous husband. Like, I'm like, is there any like Wizarding World equivalent of this? Does this something like this happen or something? That'd be.
Or like in 1995, is there like what like would there be like a famous like situation that would be going down?
Oh gosh, I have no idea. No idea. Is this when like David Beckham would have been doing his stuff?
No, I think he was like too far after. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought about like Princess Diana, but that may have been earlier.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she was an actress either. I knew she was just a princess.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
know.
The people in Britain are like,
What are you doing?
stop speculating on our lands.
Meghan Markle was an actress.
Clearly, we're good at some things and really not good at other things.
You guys see her in Suits?
I did. Good times.
Good times.
Anyway, one of my favorite pieces of trivia has got to be the final piece of information that basically all but confirms in Harry's mind that Voldemort is not doing anything. At least it's not making the news because the last thing is Bungie the Budgie is a water skiing bird.
Bird, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Beauregard or whatever it says there. Right?
Yeah.
Budgerigards.
But Budgerigar.
Budgerigards. I honestly, for the longest time, I thought this was describing a squirrel. I guess this is just like more of a British way to, or kind of bird or something. I don't know. But I think in Anchorman, they end a newscast with a water skiing squirrel. And I was like, they're probably talking about the same exact clip. Like...
Almost certainly it's only one small obscure water skiing situation.
Also, I love how Harry's like, he gets to the point where it's like, there's birds water skiing, and Harry's like, yep, no magic.
No magic.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, how do you think it's water
How
skiing,
do you
Harry?
Yeah, like this sounds like exactly the sort of thing. We're like, oh, muggles, they'll just believe birds can water ski. You know?
That's it. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, so Bungie the Budgie lives at the Five Feathers in Barnsley.
There you go.
That is a piece of trivia that I'm already upset that
Five Feathers.
The Five Feathers. How can you remember? So the five fingers. It takes
fingers.
5 fingers on both hands to hold onto a handle to water ski. If we were birds, feathers, fingers, feathers, 5 feathers, fingers, budger-do.
There you go. I think you got it.
Thanks.
You're gonna get it right. The five feathers.
Yeah, you've digested it. You don't have to do things like this. You just know it now.
I will. I do. That one's pretty remote.
It's pretty. It is. It is. Yeah. All right. Anyway,
There's
continue.
no doubt. So next, though, something Harry's about to stand up when when a bunch of things happen all at once. There's a loud echoing crack from Mundungus, who I feel like this is like. It is so loud, and there is so much other apparitions that happen. I'm like, maybe Mundungus isn't very good at it. Maybe there's some maybe the better you are at it, the more silent you can be.
That's the thing, because I also agree with you. It seems like whenever an apparition happens, like at number 4 Perfect Drive, it's like this. It's compared to like a car backfire,
right?
It's like it's a very loud noise,
yeah,
But then, Fred and George, I think, are going to apparate into the room with Harry, Ron, and Hermione here in a couple of chapters when we get to, the number 12. And it's like, for some reason, I just don't imagine them appearing in the room and it being like, crack.
Right. That it's like 2 guns just got fired in the room.
Exactly. Yeah. So it doesn't seem like very, very subtle in that way. But it also wouldn't surprise me if Mundungus just wasn't very good at it.
Well, that's true, too. So that the crack is Mundungus disapparating. Leaving the scene, I guess. And then this is a cat streaked out from under a parked car. That's Mr. Tibbles, who belongs to Mrs. Fig. And then you get Harry jumping to his feet, pulling from the waistband of his jeans a thin wooden wand as if he was unsheathing a sword, which I think is very intentional wording there. Just supposed to invoke Harry and the sword of Gryffindor a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like a very kind of heroic positioning stance type situation.
Yeah.
Absolutely agreed. Yep. Mm-hmm. But it's also in this exact same moment that the top of his head collided with the Dursleys' open window.
Ugh, I can feel it from here.
I know. It's like I have had this sensation just too many times in my life where you stand up and you lift a cabinet door open or a drawer or something.
Yeah.
It hurts so bad.
It is terrible. And then this is interesting wording too. Harry felt as if his head had been split in 2, because that is how Harry is going to feel after he like attacks Mr. Weasley later on, that like, you know, is Voldemort possessing me? Like, am I like myself, you know, like in essence divided or whatever.
Right. Yes. That's a very good point. Yep.
Yeah.
And this is another, then it's going to be followed up with another piece of just total hypocrisy on the part of the Dursleys.
Yes.
Because Uncle Vernon is going to be so upset for witnessing Harry standing up holding his wand that he will reach out the window with his 2 large purple hands and close them tightly around his throat.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, he's like, put it away now before anyone sees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm going to tell you right now that if I looked out the window and saw a 15-year-old kind of like playing sword fight with a wooden stick, not that big of a deal.
Right.
On the flip side, if I look out the window and see you strangling that same boy out of your window, that's a pretty big deal.
Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Pretty big deal.
So it's like, it's so remarkable to me the extent that the Dursleys like can behave in this manner.
Yes.
Where it's like they can do these things that are so abhorrent and be so convinced that the holding of a stick, as far as an unknown onlooker is concerned, is worse.
Right. I mean, if I walked past any child in the world and they were holding a stick and were like pretending to do magic, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, they're magic.
Yes.
You know?
I am witnessing something unnatural.
Wow. That kid is crazy. What does he have, an imagination? Oh, yeah. But then this is very interesting to me. What happens next is it says, then the pain in the top of Harry's head gave a particularly nasty throb. Uncle Vernon yelped and released Harry as though he had received an electric shock. So like, I don't know. It sounds to me that like, you know, the top of his head, like lightning scar, electric shock. Right?
You
know what I mean?
I follow your meaning. Yes. I mean,
Zap.
zip, zap, zorp. You can't help but feel like something is going on here. Like almost as if like the scar itself is literally like spoken out against Uncle Vernon. And I literally, when I read this, I was like, wait a second, what? And then I was like, well, they'll explain what the surge of electricity was. No. What is the electricity?
I know.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting because it's like, it seems just like unintentional magic.
That's what it seems like.
Which, you know, like we know wizards will exhibit when they are younger. That's like Harry thinking the wind caught him and that's how he ended up on like the chimney of the school or something. And it's like, okay, Harry, you weren't paying attention in science, but whatever. But there ends up being a scene a couple pages later where Harry and Dudley are in the alleyway and the Dementors are showing up. And Harry's like, was it his emotions? Was he unintentionally causing this darkness? But it's like, but he didn't have the power to turn off the stars.
Right.
And so all I can think is that this is just an example of unintentional magic. And go ahead.
Maybe, but in Prisoner of Azkaban, when Aunt Marge is there, he does unintentional magic and blows her up, right? Right. And the Ministry knows he did that because he runs into Fudge and he's like, oh, we don't send people to Azkaban for blowing up their aunts. Right. So they're able to track the fact that he did unintentional magic. They just don't punish him for it.
Right.
And Umbridge is trying to literally frame him for this exact thing on this evening, almost at this time.
Sure.
And there's no notice of it.
Good point.
Right.
So someone else?
So, well, okay. I don't know if you think about this as a weird theory. Because Uncle Vernon is not blood related to Harry, could Harry be protected from him by the bond of blood?
Whoa. Okay. Well, would it be bond of blood or would it be sacrificial protection?
Bond of blood.
Bond of blood.
I mean, that says you can't find them in their residence, but it's maybe like a loophole because he also is a resident there.
Right. That is very interesting. Like that Vernon would qualify so much so as like an opponent that some measure of magical enforcement was literally being like administered in this moment as like an autocorrect.
Right.
Is that what you're suggesting?
That's what I'm saying. Because like the Death Eaters can't come find him when he's there.
Right.
But Vernon lives there. He's married, so he's like technically part of the family, but it's not a blood relative.
Right.
So like, there's like a loophole for him.
I mean, I like it.
Right?
I like it. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. I got you. That's what you mean. Yeah. That's
Nothing
fun.
like this ever happens again.
You're right. I don't know why we've never paid more attention to it until now.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, as I read that, I had to read it like 5 times because I was like, what is this?
Because it feels like if it was Harry, the Ministry would know about it and they would be like, yo, that guy just did magic. Get him expelled.
So, but I mean, would this suggest as well that like, because I know that there's some point in time like where Petunia swings like a frying pan at him, and that's like one of those things where you're like, well, if you got hit in the head with a frying pan, well, that would hurt awful bad.
Yeah.
But like maybe Petunia can. But I'm trying to think, is there ever an instance where Uncle Vernon has physically mistreated Harry?
I mean, there's like the scene where they're all kind of getting whacked by the smelting stick a little, and there's a lot of like threats. I'm not sure he ever outright chokes him. Like he's like strangling him. You know, his life is in danger.
Right.
In a kind of way here.
So that, I mean, that would basically be the other thing that was that.
And obviously Dudley punches him a bunch, but they're blood related.
They are blood related. You're right.
So I think Petunia and Dudley would be safe from this.
Right, but Vernon uniquely is
because it's the bond of blood.
Yes.
But Vernon's not.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's possible.
Okay, I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Very good. Because then it's not Harry doing the magic. Then it's just the spell that Dumbledore did reacting
to the magic, which must in some way register as like more subtle or not. Wouldn't show up as like magic being used on the property.
Right. Yeah. Well, like in the same way, this apparition doesn't register either.
Also true.
Right.
Also very true.
Like, we just did apparition right there.
Right there. Yeah.
It's not like, it feels like when he gets to court, there should be like, there was a Patronus charm, there was an apparition, there was some lightning zappy stuff.
We're not sure what that is. No specific verbiage.
Yeah. Exactly.
But we are meant to understand that a muggle man was badly damaged.
Yeah. For like a second.
Yeah.
So anyway, there you go. Maybe.
The thing I think is most remarkable about this is the extent to which Uncle Vernon then is able to look at Mrs. Number 7 and shout, "Lovely evening. Did you hear that call backfire just now? Gave Petunia and me quite a turn."
Ooh, that was a doozy. Like everyone looks outside because maybe a car backfired, but no one's looking around or seeing who's throwing rocks at cars.
Exactly. Yeah.
No one's 10-year-olds are showing up beaten up, and they're like, I guess that's normal. You know how kids are. Running into stuff.
Run in the danger, beat it up.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, so like then Uncle Vernon starts grilling Harry and he's like, "What the devil do you mean by it, boy?" And Harry's like, "What do I mean by what?" And he's like, "Making a racket like a starting pistol right outside our..." "I didn't make that noise," said Harry firmly.
Yeah. And then Aunt Petunia, she's looking all sorts of livid. And then Harry's just like, "Oh, I was just listening to the news." And Harry is packing the sass in this chapter.
He really is.
He's got some zingers. Yeah. I'm here for it.
Oh man, yeah. Harry and his sassiness is pretty fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is funny. I mean, just no context whatsoever. If you were to just take these 2 lines and just be like, "What were you doing under our window?" "Listening to the news," said Harry in a resigned voice. His aunt and uncle exchanged looks of outrage. It's like, I need to know the rest of the story as to why they could possibly be so upset.
And then I loved listening to the news again. Well, I change these every day, you see.
Don't you be clever with me, boy.
Oh, man. And don't get rid of this listening to the news. You know perfectly well that your lot. It's like, well, Sirius was on the news, so.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Careful, Vernon, breathes on Petunia, because this is, again, like one of those things where it's like, we can be seen yelling at our child. We can't be seen talking about some other lot of people that we may be associated with.
I know. Even though they haven't explained other lot.
Right.
Which would just be the other kids at St. Brutus's, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. That's all you know. So maybe they don't know Sirius specifically was the one who's his godfather.
Maybe
not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. And then, boy, they think they corner him here. This is a weird little exchange. She says, "You nasty little liar. What are all those owls doing if they're not bringing you news?" And then it said, Harry hesitated. It cost him something to tell the truth this time. "The owls aren't bringing me the news," said Harry tonelessly, which is a straight up lie. They're bringing him the paper.
I think you're right. I mean, he's like, it's going to say that he had to like wake up at 5 a.m. to pay the owl that delivered the Daily Prophet. So he's 100% getting literally paying for the news. But I guess what Harry means is this is probably like where he's being a little bit of a teenager about the situation, where he's like, I'm not getting any news. And it's like no news that I want anyway. Right. I mean, I get the paper, but yeah.
Look at us that.
Right. Yeah. But I do think it's funny that there's like these lines that Petunia keeps bringing up where, oh my gosh, what am I trying to say? What are they doing if they're not bringing you the news? And then Uncle Vernon's like, aha, what a great point, my wife. Get out of that one, boy. And it's like, well, to Vernon's credit, he does think his wife is just brilliant.
Well, I guess. But like what on earth does he think he's got him here? Get out of that one. It's like, ooh, you got him now. Oh.
Right, yeah.
Like he could, like, as if Harry could just be like, my friends are just sending me letters.
That's how we do mail.
Yeah, it's just mail. It doesn't have to be news.
Right. Right. The real point.
My birthday 2 days ago. Maybe you remember.
Maybe probably don't.
Probably don't. But
the real thing that we the reader are being taught here is that the owls aren't bringing Harry news as far as he's concerned, because Harry just feels isolated. He doesn't know what's going on, and it feels like all the letters that he is getting, even though they're supposed to be news, are not filled with nearly enough information or anything that satisfies his thirst.
Yeah. I love the line here with Uncle Bert. He says, we're not stupid, you know. And Harry says, well, that's news.
I wrote in, got him.
Got him. But his temper rising. And I was like, as it shall continue to do.
Yes. Yes. Pretty much nonstop, steadily for the rest of the book. Yeah. He was in trouble now when he knew it. He would have to face his aunt and uncle later to pay the price for his rudeness, but he did not care very much just at the moment. He had more pressing matters on his mind.
Yeah. They're about to be much, much, much more pressing matters.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Harry was sure that the cracking noise had been made by somebody apparating or disapparating. It was exactly the sound that Dobby the house elf made when he vanished into thin air. So maybe it's not poor ability, because I have to imagine Dobby's quite good at it.
Well, I have to imagine, I always imagine that house elves make the distinctive crack in a way that is like their apparition is like a slight, it's like a different font from wizard ones.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I imagine.
I don't hate that. Yeah. Let's see here.
Because like Dobby can apparate in like the spells that stop wizards from apparating don't stop house elves.
Right.
Right. So I feel like it's just like, it's clearly like a similar power, but not exactly, it's not like copy and paste this code from one to the other.
That's a good point. Yeah. Cause the house elves can like apparate in and out of, like Malfoy Manor, whereas like other people can't.
Right.
But speaking of house elves, it's interesting because Harry's then like, could Dobby be following him right at this moment? And as the moment
literally has been doing exactly that before.
True. Yes. And it's funny. He was like, Harry was sure that Dobby did not know how to become invisible. And I'm like, well, to be fair, an invisible house elf was literally a plot point back in Goblet of Fire. So
yeah,
it's like, it is possible.
Right. Yeah. It was there. And it's like, not for nothing, Harry, like Dobby also enchanted a bludger to follow you around, and he created an invisible wall in front of the platform. So like, I don't think you really know what Dobby can do.
Right. Also, if Harry called for Dobby right now, would he show up?
1,003%. He'd be like, Harry Potter, sir!
Dobby is here!
Dobby is here. He has been waiting. 1,000% Dobby would show up. I'm surprised he does. I feel like it is crazy to me that Harry's just not like, Dobby?
I know. Yes. Yeah. It's like, that's all it would take. And then but that would solve a problem.
That would solve a problem.
Right.
Exactly. Yes. Excuse me. Dobby, sadly, is not there. Even though Harry's sure he can't become invisible. Was sure that he couldn't become invisible. And then the other thing is that like Harry says he was positive someone had been there. Why hadn't they spoken to him? Why hadn't they made contact? Where were they now? He's like positive that it was like, this is the state of Harry's mind. He's super worried about Voldemort coming back. He's listening to the news every day. He's ignoring all news that isn't Voldemort. And yet when there's a magical person near him, he is he has such a feeling of isolation. He assumes it is an ally who is not speaking to him rather than a Death Eater spying on him.
Right. Like he's not seeing this as like almost certain danger,
right.
Which is the other, like, it's like if somebody appears and they have not made themselves, why
didn't they make contact? Because they're an enemy. That's what I would assume.
Exactly. It's also ridiculous to me that the person they have watching Harry is Mundungus.
I know.
It's like Harry qualifies for at least a Lupin.
At least a Lupin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, what are the odds that it just so happens? Like, I don't think Umbridge is aware that Mundungus left. She's not aware that he was even there.
Exactly.
Like, the odds that Umbridge picks this night to send the Dementors and Mundungus just happens to have left is like bananas lucky.
It is. Yeah, it works out really well. Although, again, it's like one of those instances where it's like, we see what Mundungus does in the Battle of the Seven Potters. He bolts.
Yeah.
So it's like if the Dementors showed up, I don't think he would have been helpful.
Well, that's true too. That's true too. That almost would have been like better. He like shows up and he's like, "What? See ya. Sorry, boy."
Yeah. There was nothing I could do. They were Dementors.
Yeah.
It's like cast a Patronus, and he's like, man. I can't.
Oh.
Well.
Take Harry. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. So let's see. Harry had a dull sinking sensation in his stomach, and before he knew it, the feeling of hopelessness that had plagued him all summer rolled over him once again. That's kind of like interesting writing too, because that's sort of the feeling Dementors give you, and it's like, are they already in the area? Are they like circling around or something?
Right. Like it's almost like their essence is like nearby somehow. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But then it says tomorrow morning he would be awoken by the alarm at 5 o'clock so that he could pay the owl that delivered the Daily Prophet.
Why is it there at 5 a.m.?
But was there any point in continuing to take it? Harry merely glanced at the front page before throwing it aside these days.
So they are bringing you the news.
Yes, exactly. But this is also a bit of like a vital error because Harry is sort of like he gets to number 12 rather. Grimmauld Place. I almost said Privet Drive. And he's like, no, there has been no news. I've been taking the Daily Prophet. And they're like, well, have you been reading past the front page? And he's like, well, no. If there was anything to see, it'd be on the front page. And Hermione's like, well,
not necessarily.
You kind of had to read a little bit further because they're effectively slowly slandering Harry's name.
Right, which he is unprepared for, even though he could have been prepared for.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So that's kind of the same way he's reading the Muggle news too, where he's like, oh, he's only really looking for like a very specific kind of story.
Yes.
But that's just not how Voldemort's operating. At least not yet, anyway. But then we get to hear what Ron and Hermione have been sending him, and you can see why it would be super frustrating for him because we can't say much about what. Obviously, we've been told not to say anything important in case our letters go astray, which is a little bit of foreshadowing because eventually Umbridge will be searching the owls at Hogwarts.
Yeah, so I mean, Hedwig will actually be like taken.
Yeah,
and Grubbly Plank will I think end up take a look at her for Harry and make sure that like everything is okay.
Yeah,
you're right though. That is something that will go on to happen. And then Harry kind of laments. It says like, but when were they going to see him? Nobody seemed too bothered with like a precise date. And that is like one of those things where I'm like, this feels like what most of the letters should be about is like coordinating getting together.
Right.
Like it almost feels like for plot reasons that it's like they're sending such scarce information.
Yeah, it is really frustrating, especially when you're Harry and it's like, I literally just saw him come back and now clearly you two were together. He even says that. Harry could tell from the vague hints in their letters Hermione and Ron were in the same place, presumably at Ron's parents' house, which I think is funny because it's like, actually they're not. And as if to add insult to injury, we're hanging out at your godparents' house.
It's like, like the only person who's like kind of family to you. We're there without you.
And we're not telling you anything. And then, let me know what you think about this. Okay. So he was so angry at them. He had thrown both of their birthday presents of Honeyduke's chocolates away unopened. I think there was a lot said there because I think Ron and Hermione are actually like really tuned in to how Harry is probably feeling because in the wizarding world, chocolate is used to treat depression.
Yeah.
And they send him chocolates and he doesn't eat it.
Right.
But it's like, maybe they're like, oh my God, we got to like, they both send him the same thing.
Right.
It's like, they know that it's hard for him and they're like literally trying to send him like like literal, a healing thing.
Yeah, they are sending him for his birthday dementor medicine just days before he is attacked by a dementor.
Yes. I have to assume it's because they know that he's in a really bad state.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
They must be aware of that. I think that they would know him well enough at this point for that. Yeah.
Yes, although it says, just for what it's worth, it says, he had thrown their birthday presents of Honeydew chocolates away unopened, though he had regretted this after eating the wilting salad Aunt Petunia had provided for dinner that night. Like, you couldn't get the chocolate back yet? How quickly she taking out the trash here?
Or where did you throw? You have that loose floorboard, man. I know. Throw it away in the loose floorboard.
Right.
You might want it later.
Yeah, come on.
But I hate this line that he has to like ask himself this question, because it's like, when you feel like you have to ask the question, it's almost like giving yourself a kind of credit that's hard to give yourself, even if it's true. But it says, why wasn't he Harry busy? Hadn't he proved himself capable of handling much more than they? Had they forgotten what all he had done? Hadn't it been he who had entered that graveyard and watched Cedric being murdered and been tied to that tombstone and nearly killed? It's like, these are questions you don't ever want to have to ask yourself.
Oh, I know. And he knows it too, because the very next line is, don't think about that. Harry told himself sternly for the 100th time. Or maybe he means the tombstone and Cedric dying and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But to his credit, later on, when he's at the DA meeting and people are asking him all about these exact things that he has done, he's just like, well, I don't really want to talk about it. And really, it's kind of luck. And I don't really know what I was doing or anything.
Got lucky. I usually had a lot of help.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like he's building this narrative in his mind right now because he's upset with the situation, not because he really believes it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like classic insecurity doing what insecurity does. Like, I think a lot of times if you know somebody who constantly presents as like overly confident on a specific topic, it's probably because they feel moderately insecure about their knowledge on that topic, or insecure about something else entirely. And they're trying to use that topic as a way to like leverage their own brand of intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Anyway, let's see here. He turned a corner onto Magnolia Crescent. Halfway along, he passed the narrow alleyway down the side of the garage where he had first clapped eyes on his godfather.
Clapped eyes.
Interesting word choices. Sirius at least seemed to understand how Harry was feeling. Admittedly, his letters were just as empty of proper news as Ron and Hermione's, but at least they contained words of caution and consolation instead of tantalizing hints. I know this must be frustrating for you. Keep your nose clean and everything will be okay. Be careful and don't do anything rash.
Yeah.
And Harry's just like, yeah, like you do.
Yeah, I know, right? Let's see, because what does it say? Where it says, nevertheless, it was quite galling to be told not to be rash by a man who had served 12 years in the wizard prison Azkaban, escaped, attempted to commit the murder he'd been convicted for in the first place, then gone on the run with the stolen hippogriff. And I'm like, well, yeah, but like with your help.
I was going to say, you provided him with the hippogriff.
With that. And to be fair, I don't think Sirius wanted any of that to happen.
It's like this. Yeah, it's not. He wasn't guilty in prison. He was innocent.
He was
in prison.
innocent. He had to do all those things.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Not exactly a walk in the park, which is exactly what you're literally doing right now.
Oh wow, that was a weird sound from the microphone.
That was a weird sound. Maybe we peaked a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he reaches the swings, which the other thing is how like thorough Dudley and his gang are, because it seems like they've largely like wreaked havoc everywhere in the general area, and now they're at the park in this very fancy neighborhood, mind you, and all the swings are broken except for the one that Harry sits down on, because all of them have been broken by Dudley and his friends.
Yeah. So I guess, get one left to swing on there. And he starts lamenting about all the nightmares he's having about Cedric and long dark corridors, all finishing in dead ends and locked doors. So he's kind of Voldemort's already thinking about the prophecy and started to dwell on it a little bit.
Right.
And that's why Harry's having these particular dreams. Although, let me ask you this then, though, Ben, if Voldemort's having these obsessions and thinking about the corridors, do you suppose that means that Voldemort himself is then also having dreams about Cedric dying?
I had the exact same thought. And I was just sort of like Voldemort like wakes up like in a cold sweat and he's like, do I regret that one? It's like, no, I'm so okay.
What is this feeling? Or does he just wake up in a good mood? He's just like, whew, I had that dream again, Wormtail.
He's like, guess what? He died again.
He died again.
Right. No, I like to think that Voldemort like sort of has this like weird inner turmoil over Cedric's death. Like at all times.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, and he doesn't know why.
He
just
doesn't
sort of
know
like,
why.
It's like, I keep having these dreams and I'm devastated that I've killed this boy.
This boy, I'm like, is it because I didn't physically hold the wand to do it? I let Wormtail do it, but I wanted to do it. I don't know. I'm stuck. I dream about it every night.
Every night.
Oh, Cedric. I even know his name. I didn't know who that kid was. Oh my gosh. That'd be so funny. I think for sure Voldemort's having dreams about Cedric.
Right. Yep. But no, it's also interesting as well because this information that Harry gets, he doesn't have any context for, but it's actually very important information.
Yeah.
Like the hallways that he keeps going down in his mind are the Department of Mysteries, and it's basically like what the whole book is going to be leading up to. It's the mystery that the whole book is just barreling towards the whole time. And it's where the climax of the action of the story ends up.
Yeah, and interestingly, he's actually going to see the door itself in like a week's time or so.
Also true.
Yeah.
Also when he goes in for his hearing.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see here. But then this is like the most relatable teenage experience ever. But the injustice of it all welled up inside of him, so that he wanted to yell with fury.
If it hadn't been for him, nobody would have even known Voldemort was back. And his reward was to be stuck in little whinging for 4 solid weeks, completely cut off from the magical world, reduced to squatting among dying begonias. Yeah. I mean, I get it. This is where it says Budrigars.
Yeah, the Budrigars. There we go. Yep. How could Dumbledore have forgotten about him so easily? Why had Ron and Hermione got together without inviting him along too? How much longer was he supposed to endure Sirius telling him to sit tight and be a good boy? And it's sort of like you could see, like, it's not hard to understand why this would be so isolating and frustrating. It's like you're just like, oh, this would be bad.
Yeah,
this would be bad. And Dumbledore's not going to do a great job at all this year.
No,
in making Harry feel any better.
No, because he's just not going to talk to him basically at all.
He ghosts him.
Yeah, he kind of ghosts him a little bit. But you know what, Harry, the things are going to be okay because a nice sultry velvety night is falling around you. Like the weirdest words to describe night ever.
It's like, well, okay, I mean,
why does it say sultry?
Sultry is a choice.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So it's dark now. The air was full of the smell of warm, dry grass, or as I like to call it, Ron scent.
That's freshly mown grass.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, come on now, Ben.
Let's see here. He did not know how long he had sat on the swing before the sound of voices interrupted his musings, and he looked up. And of course, what he is hearing is Dudley and his gang working their way along down the street. And this is where we get like a little bit of like a new piece of insight into Dudley, who basically like is basically bigger than ever, but like in a different capacity than we've known Dudley in the past, because he has basically found a sport that has brought about quite a change in his physique.
The noble sport.
Boxing. Yes, Dudley has become the heavyweight interschool boxing champion of the Southeast.
There you go.
Yeah. So just a few modifiers on there, but probably pretty impressive.
Probably, yeah.
Nonetheless, I actually think that while Dudley is almost always the worst, and it seems like the things that him and his gang get up to are the worst, I actually feel like Harry is provoking him in such a specific kind of way that Dudley is trying to ignore himself.
Yeah.
Like Harry is holding back from just basically exploding every second of the chapter so far.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is that like Harry is going to see these kids from afar and literally think to himself, like, look around, come on, look around. I'm sitting right here all alone. Come and have a go. And it's like, he's got this kind of like relatable angst where it's just like, punch me.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Do it.
Like, it's like, let's have a fight, because I have a lot of pent up frustration right now. And I kind of want to just like let that out on you guys, even though my fight's not really with you in particular, but you're here.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see here. But the boys do not end up seeing them, and Harry masters the impulse to not call after them. Seeking a fight was not a smart move.
Correct.
Yes, but it also, and it says, and he must not use magic because it would be risking expulsion again. And so that's just good for the book to remind us that is in fact a problem.
Yeah,
something we need to be aware of.
For a few pages from now.
Right.
And then Harry says, there you go, Sirius. Nothing rash. Kept my nose clean. Exactly the opposite of what you'd have done. And that is a pretty nice little setup for later in this book when we get into Snape's worst memory, because he is 100% correct. It is exactly the opposite of what Sirius would have done.
Yes.
Because a very similar situation presents itself to Sirius and James. And James is like, I'm bored. And Sirius is like, hey, look, Snape, let's go pick on him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go, Harry. Way to rise above the low bar that was Sirius as a high school student.
Yes. And yet you did. So there you go.
There you go.
We get a lovely description here of Magnolia Road and Privet Drive and their square houses and their square owners, which I'm like, square owners. That's funny. That's all. And then we get to hear Dudley and his gang sort of say goodnight for the evening. Squealed like a pig, didn't he? Malcolm was saying. So we get to learn 4 of the 5 members of Dudley's gang here. We have Malcolm, Piers, Gordon, and Dudley, and some other kid.
Goodness gracious. Malcolm. Like, I just read this chapter and already forgot Malcolm.
Yeah.
No offense to all the Malcolms listening.
Oh, I know.
Anything.
I wrote them all down. I was like, people are going to trivia us on this so hard.
This is definitely another one that's going to come up. Piers, we got that.
We know
Gordon,
that one.
Malcolm.
Yeah. Yeah, their own little marauders there. And some other kid.
Yeah, and some other kid. Okay. Peter, probably.
Which one do you think is the Lupin, you know?
I think Malcolm.
You think Malcolm?
I think Malcolm feels like the Lupin.
Yeah.
Gordon feels like the
Sirius?
Yeah, the Sirius.
Because Piers has to be the Peter.
You're right. Yes. I made a Peter joke before as if I was, yeah. Piers is definitely the Peter. And then so Dudley's James.
Dudley's the James. Yeah, for sure.
That hurts.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it does hurt. Yes. They're not really good comparisons.
No,
and there's a 5th kid that we're not even mentioning.
That's Snape.
Yeah, that's Snape.
Sev.
It was Mark Evans. He's the 5th kid.
The 10-year-old?
The 10-year-old.
Who was
asking for it.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of names for Dudley here. We got Big D. We got Dud, which Dud is such a funny nickname because, like, what a terrible name. What's up, Dud?
What's up, Dud? It's It seems like something that like didn't work. Like, oh, it was a dud.
Yeah. You want to know a fun fact?
What's that?
Is that if you had a firework that didn't go off, that was a dud. You know what it's called?
No.
A squib.
No way.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
There you go.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. We got Ickle Diddykins, Dinky Didyums, Popkin.
Lots of good Dudley nicknames in here.
Right. Yeah. So Harry basically comes in and just immediately
he's cranking the sass again.
Right. Like Dudley is walking home. This is what you have to picture. Dudley's walking home by himself.
Yeah.
Harry runs up behind him and goes, "Hey, Big D." And then Dudley goes, "Oh, it's you. How long have you been Big D then?"
Yeah.
"Shut it," snarled Dudley, turning away. "Cool name, but you'll always be Ickle Diddykins to me." "I said shut it," said Dudley.
"Did the boys know what your mom calls you?" "What about Popkin and Dinky Diddy Dums?"
Right, yeah. So who you been beating up tonight? Harry asked, his grin fading. "Another 10-year-old. I know you did Mark Evans 2 nights ago."
Which, fun fact, when Harry gets his letter from the ministry here for doing the Patronus charm, it's going to say that it was August 2nd, which means 2 nights ago was July 31st, which was Harry's birthday.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So he was asking for it, snarled Dudley. "Oh, yeah? He cheeked me."
He cheeked me. Did he say you look like a pig that's been taught to walk on its hind legs? Because that's not cheek, Dud. That's true.
A muscle was twitching in Dudley's jaw. It gave Harry enormous satisfaction to know how furious he was making Dudley. He felt as though he was siphoning off his own frustration into his cousin, the only outlet that he had. So just so you know, in high school, bullies, that's what they're doing. Like Harry is not like a bully across the board.
Yeah.
But it is a good description of what bullies are doing to other kids.
Right.
Like they are taking their own frustration and they're making themselves feel better by putting that frustration elsewhere. Elsewhere being other students that they feel weak enough to not be able to withstand their
Yeah.
meanness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's see here. They turn right down the alleyway where Harry had first seen Sirius and formed a shortcut between Magnolia Crescent and Wisteria Walk. So a bit of a trivia there is, where does the Dementor attack happen? It's at that cross section.
Yep. And then Harry is laying it on. I feel like he gets a little thick here. He says, "Not as stupid as you look, are you, Dud? But I suppose if you were, you wouldn't be able to walk around." Like, geez, man.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So he pulls out his wand, and Dudley's like, "You're not allowed to do that. I know you're not. You get expelled." And Harry's like, "How do you know they haven't changed the rules, Big D?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "They haven't.
They haven't, probably."
Right.
Yeah. But then I love this exchange here. You haven't got the guts to take me out without that thing, have you? And then Harry's like, "Yeah, but you just need 4 mates behind you before you can beat up a 10-year-old. It's like, yeah, it's pretty good.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, it's a good point. But so yeah, Dudley does defend his title, saying that he was his opponent was 16 for his information. And he was out cold for 20 minutes after I'd finished with him,
Which
and he was
is
twice
impressive.
It is. That's what I'm saying. Is that
Yeah.
it's like Dudley may have, like, boxing is a real sport. It's a violent sport.
Yeah.
But he is at least within the confines of an agreed upon match.
Right. Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, there are weight classes in boxing, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. But then Dudley, I think at this point in time, and it's like, to be fair, Dudley didn't lead with any of this.
Yeah,
Like,
he's just reacting to the situation.
He is. "Not this brave at night, are you?" sneered Dudley. This is
night.
night, Diddykins.
That's what we call it when it goes all dark.
And then we get to when you're in bed, Dudley snarls.
Harry's like, "What do you mean I'm not brave in bed?
Completely.
Have you been talking to Hermione?" No.
What am I supposed to be frightened of my pillows or something? "I heard you last night," said Dudley breathlessly, "talking in your sleep, moaning." And this actually is kind of funny because this has been established for quite some time, but the walls at number 4 Privet Drive are quite thin.
Yeah.
And he's been able to hear Uncle Vernon snoring through the walls for years.
Yeah.
So that actually makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. But then Dudley chimes in and he's like, "Don't kill Cedric. Don't kill Cedric." "Who's Cedric? Your boyfriend?" And then Harry's like, "You're lying." And he's like, but he knew Dudley wasn't lying. How else would he know about Cedric?
Yeah.
And then he keeps going. And it's like, the thing here is that Harry baited Dudley into this spat. And Dudley has no idea how awful the things that he's saying actually are.
He really does not. He is super pushing the wrong buttons here.
Right.
Yeah. But surprisingly has the upper hand all of a sudden.
He does. So it's an odd exchange, to say the least. But yeah, so either which way, it makes Harry so upset. And I mean, again, in the same capacity, it's like, it's not a joking matter.
No, it's not. And I mean, clearly at some point, Harry's parents start to get involved here, and then it's like, you know who they are, at least.
Right.
Or that,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
"Dad, help me. Dad, he's going to kill me. Dad, boo-hoo. Shut up, Dudley. I'm warning you." It's like, "He's killed Cedric. Dad, help me. He's going to." And that's when Harry loses it and he pulls the wand out.
Yep. So,
Which, understandably, Harry's just like, "Oh my God."
Right. "Don't ever talk about that again," Harry snarled. "Do you understand me?" "Point that thing somewhere else. I said, do you understand me?" And he keeps going back and forth.
And it goes back and forth. Yeah. I wonder how this might have ended, but we don't find out because instead the Dementors show up.
That's right.
And
yes.
then the Dementors arrived.
Yeah, unfortunately, this time it's just true.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Something had happened in the night. The star-strewn indigo sky was suddenly pitch black and lightless. The stars, the moon, and the misty street lamps at either end of the alley had vanished.
The moon,
yeah. And it's funny because it's going to say that Harry didn't have the power to turn off the stars. And I highlighted that and I wrote a note just because Dumbledore's Deluminator is awfully unique because it's a very specific invention that is capable of removing light.
Dousing lights.
Yeah. Nothing else that we know of in the wizarding world other than an Obscurus can do that.
Can do that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you suppose then, or maybe Dementors, I guess. I don't know.
Well, also possibly Dementors, but it wouldn't even surprise me in the slightest if there was some type of relationship between an Obscurus and a Dementor.
Oh, not even the slightest bit. Yeah.
They seem like cousins at bare minimum.
They do seem cousins at bare minimum. Do you suppose that though, if he turns off the moon, that Lupin could be around Dementors and not transform?
It's an interesting thought.
Of course, then you have a whole different problem that you're surrounded by Dementors. And then if you get rid of him, then he transforms. Ah!
Hey, so it's the classic
hate it when that happens.
Classic werewolf dementor conundrum.
I know. If I get rid of the dementors, then I'll turn into a werewolf. What do I do? What do I do? Yeah.
Let's see here. But the thing is that unfortunately, because Harry's pulled his wand out, Dudley is absolutely certain that everything that's happening now is coming
Because
from
of
Harry.
Harry. Yes, and because it's gone completely dark, it is like dark outside that you can't see at all. And it's like if you've ever been in a cave where it is like dark, like you can't, like when you have no lights on, like it is true darkness is, scary.
It's
you feel blind.
You do. It's like it is alarming how little you actually can feel the sensation of your eyes being opened or closed.
Yeah.
Because when you're in absolute pitch black darkness like this, it's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like it's almost like you could sleep with your eyes open and you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. Yeah. That is the kind of darkness they're dealing with here. So as far as Dudley's concerned, he has gone blind and Harry's done some sort of spell on him, which is all just really bad timing because Dudley's just going to totally just rear back and clock him.
Yes, which now that you have the context that Dudley is this like boxing champion and Harry's already never been described exactly as like a bulky lad.
Yeah.
You can only imagine that this is a punch that hurts.
Yeah. Just a big old wham. He gets it says it lifts Harry off his feet and small white lights popped in front of Harry's eyes. So
for the second time in an hour, he felt as though his head had been cleaved in two.
Mm-hmm. It feels again pretty deliberate, I think. Because like he's gonna have that's what he's dealing with. Like Voldemort is like sharing his thoughts all year.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Yep. I mean that's really what we got going on. But so then Dudley runs for it, but he's running basically not having any idea where he's going. And then Harry, to his credit, does immediately try to start shouting instruction to Dudley, like Dudley, keep your mouth shut. Whatever you do, keep your mouth shut. And Harry is like frantically like on the ground looking for his wand. This is another one of those like weird situations, but he shouts Lumos without holding his wand. And it says that the spell automatically, desperate for light to help him in his search. Wait, no.
He said the spell automatically, desperate for light to help him in his search.
Oh, there we go. Yes. And to his disbelieving relief, light flared inches from his right hand. The wand tip had ignited. This seems like a bizarre kind of magic to me.
I know. It's like he can send like an electric current through the air or something.
Weird. Yeah, weird.
Does his wand have like Bluetooth now, though?
Yeah, right? That's it. Harry snatched up and scrambled to his feet and turned around. His stomach turned over. A towering hooded figure was gliding smoothly towards him. It's crazy, but like when you know the rules and that the fact that you're supposed to like summon a really good memory to create the Patronus charm, it's like, especially with everything you've been given so far in this chapter, you can't help but think, he has no out here.
I know.
Like he has been miserable.
Yeah.
The things that make him happy feel like things that are like, gone. Like, I mean, he's tried to use Sirius as a Patronus memory before. He's used Ron and Hermione as Patronus memories before.
I mean, it says right here, it's like, think something happy, but there was no happiness in him.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's kind of how he feels. That's like the mood he's been in. The Dementor's icy fingers were closing on his throat. The high-pitched laughter was growing louder and louder. A voice spoke inside his head. So his memory has changed here because it used to be Voldemort killing his mom when he was a baby that he would hear. And now it is Voldemort with him in the graveyard.
It's true. Yeah, the bow to death, Harry. It might even be painless. I would not know. I have never died.
Yes. But that makes him think about how he's never going to see Ron and Hermione again, and their faces burst clearly into his mind, and he can summon the Patronus with an Expecto Patronum! Power of friendship!
An enormous silver stag erupted from the tip of Harry's wand. Its antlers caught the Dementor in the place where the heart would have been. It was thrown backward, weightless as darkness, and as the stag charged, the Dementor swooped away, bat-like and defeated.
See, this is how I think I want to see Patronuses depicted in the show. Like, I want to see them, like, run down stuff and physically tackle them, you know?
Yeah.
Not just this, like, glowing aura, boring stuff.
I mean, I wouldn't even hate it if the Patronus just sort of like stomped upon the Dementor and it just sort of like faded out of existence.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Dementors are not like, they don't seem material to me. It's like I know they are. I know that they can be physical, and I know that they're like physically handling like Dudley's hands right now, like pulling them away from his face. Like they can touch you, but like also the fact that like like despair being something that like lots of people are feeling tends to cause them to like breed, and there's like more of them or whatever. But it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I tend to think that they like ebb and flow based on the moods. So like, to me, it wouldn't bother me if the stag could literally just like destroy them.
Right. Just like poof, vaporized. Yeah, gone.
Yeah, right.
Boom. And then I like how Harry can just sort of like control it now. He's like, get it, and points it towards the Dementor Dudley. Antlers caught it as well. Thing is thrown up into the air like its fellow. It soared away and was absorbed into the darkness.
Yep. And then it says the moon, stars, and street lamps burst back into life. A warm breeze swept the alleyway. Trees rustled in the neighboring gardens, and the mundane rumble of cars in Magnolia Crescent filled the air again. Harry stood quite still, all of his senses vibrating, taking in the abrupt return to normality. After a moment, he became aware that his t-shirt was sticking to him. He was drenched in sweat.
The abrupt return to normality feels like a sentence taken out of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
And then there was an abrupt return to normality.
Yeah, we have normality.
Right, yes, it does. He could not believe what had just happened. Dementors here in Little Whinging, which is kind of comical because it's like exactly the way the Wizengamot is going to respond to Harry's claim that there were Dementors in Little Whinging.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, Dementors in Little Whinging.
I don't think so.
It's like, that's unbelievable. And it's like, yeah, Harry, you thought the same thing. You thought you could not believe it.
You also can't believe it. It says it right here. This is also interesting because it says this is basically where he ran into Sirius.
Right.
So the last time he ran into a dark creature in this alley, it was a friend the ministry was looking for, and this time it was a foe sent by the ministry.
You're right. Yes, yes. And of course, sent by Umbridge without Fudge's knowledge.
Right.
You know, is the other thing too. So she is actually like trying to solve the problem without having to tell him exactly how she's doing it.
Exactly.
The ends justify the means, I guess. But then the other kind of interesting detail to discuss here is that it says that Dudley lay curled up on the ground, whimpering and shaking. So Dudley is pretty massively impacted by the Dementors themselves.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which I think is kind of interesting because not all of the other students, like it seems like Dudley responds to the Dementors in a capacity like maybe a little bit closer to like what Harry goes through. Mm-hmm. Like Harry tends to like pass out. He doesn't really have like the maybe like the whimpering aspect or anything, which seems more like fear driven. But it does make you wonder, like, what is Dudley seeing? I know. Like we made a video about that once, and I am not even sure what we said. I can't remember what we came up with. Was it a world? Like the things that race through my mind a little bit would be like a world where like Dudley was magical, you know, and it would be like a contrast to like Petunia's being jealous that Lily had magic, you know, like it would almost be like sorting Dudley into a position where he would like be on the receiving end of like hatred from his family.
Oh, I see. Like that. So his worst memory is like the idea that he's magical.
Yeah. Like the fear that he could be magical or something.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, that'd be an interesting one. So any thoughts on that one, be sure to let us know what you're thinking. But either which way, now Harry is not completely alone because the knight in shining armor is about to show up. One Mrs. Fig.
Their batty old neighbor came panting into sight. Oh my gosh, she's annoying in the next chapter.
Yeah, her grizzled gray hair was escaping from its hairnet. Oh, man, heroes, am I right?
Right? Yeah.
So cool. A clanking string shopping bag was swinging from her wrist, and her feet were halfway out of her tartan carpet slippers. Harry made to stow his wand hurriedly out of sight. But don't put it away, idiot boy, she shrieked. What if there are more of them around? Oh, I'm going to kill Mundungus Fletcher.
Yeah, you're like, well, say what?
So, well, I mean, that's pretty shocking, you know, like to kick things off. Like it almost makes you wonder if this was a big theory that people had coming into Order of the Phoenix, if it was like very deliberate to be like, yeah, we're going to let you know about that one right away.
Yeah.
Because that would be the kind of thing, if you can only imagine like all the fandom basically being like, oh, I think we know who this is.
Right.
Like, it must be.
Yeah,
and then right away it's like, there it is. Confirmed.
There it is. Boom.
Like
right.
Nothing's going to get you to turn the next page faster than like, okay, Mrs. Fig is like a wizard, witch,
a
maybe?
witch? Yeah.
Yeah. What do we know?
I know. But you know what's funny is that I'm just going to read ahead a little. It says, yes. I'd stationed Mr. Tibbles under a car just in case. And Mr. Tibbles came and warned me. But by the time I got to your house, you'd gone. And now, what's Dumbledore going to say? So when Mundungus apparated, Mr. Tibbles went and got Mrs. Fig. And then it was still light and hot outside. The sun was up, and it took Mrs. Fig this long to find them. Where is she looking? Like, I wonder where he is. Probably at the park. Kids don't really like the park. There's only that one swing there.
He's definitely not at the park.
No.
Let's rule it out.
Let's rule that out. Let's start
yeah.
in some less likely places first.
Right.
Now, I've been watching him all summer, and he's been walking the same paths all summer. So, I don't know.
Avoid all those.
Avoid all those.
That's what we know for sure. Yeah. But either which way, that does bring us to the end of chapter 1, Dudley Dementor, Order of the Phoenix. Looking forward to chapter 2, A Peck of Owls. But
I know.
Jay, before we close out today's episode, do you have a review for us?
Well, I reckon I do, Ben. Let's see. Today's review comes from Proud Hufflepuff 17.
Okie dokie.
They say, hey, brother, love this podcast. I'm the kind of person who needs to talk things out, especially things I love, so this podcast has been a dream. Also, as of August 11th, I'm officially of age in the wizarding world, so happy birthday. My question is from Deathly Hallows. In the first few chapters, we found out that Ron has been carefully studying the Tips and Tricks for Wooing Witches book in order to find out how to get with Hermione. He also mentions how he wishes he had the book in the 6th year so we know how to dump Lavender and get with Hermione sooner. So my question is, what if he succeeded in doing so in 6th year? How does this change Half-Blood and Deathly Hallows?
Oh, man.
Yeah. So if Ron had just been able to like successfully date or dump Lavender and started dating Hermione before Deathly Hallows started.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not all wand work, you know.
Oh, what do you know?
No,
you don't say.
No, that's very interesting, and kind of a good question, yeah. Because I mean, it's like I guess at that point in time, at bare minimum, Ron is just like he's like I'm not good at this, like I need to learn, and he's willing to. It's like I mean that's like the thing. It's like he wants to get better, and he's trying.
Yeah.
So okay, let's see here. So he's dating Lavender for how long into Half-Blood Prince?
Well, that is a good question. So because Ron gets attacked at it's. When's he get attacked? On his birthday?
Yeah,
which
March
is
1st.
March 1st, right? So when does he start? It starts before Christmas, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
because he gets the necklace for Christmas.
It's the necklace for Christmas, and that's when you have the in the movie.
Yes, the heart and the steam heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Why Lavender's not sitting in the train with them, I don't know.
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense. Yeah. We're boyfriend, girlfriend, but we're not going to sit together on the train.
No, of course. Yeah.
No,
we have our other friends we have to tend to.
Friends. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least 2 months, right? Yeah. At least 3 months.
At least 3 months. Yeah.
At least December, January, February.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, let's see here.
So, and then when he's in the hospital wing, Hermione's visiting him and he's like avoiding Lavender, and then they break up because of the Felix Felicis. That's when they break up.
Right. Yes. The Felix Felicis.
Felix Felicis is when they break up, right? Yeah. And then when does he actually do that? When Aragog dies, I don't know. Early spring. Can't be much longer after that. March, mid-March, something, right? I think.
Yeah. I think we're somewhere in that time frame. So, I mean, I guess it's interesting because
I think he wants to dump her, like pretty much after Christmas. So let's assume he's like, oh God, I read this book. Oh my gosh. And then he dumps her like at New Year or when they get back to school, at New Year's.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So if Ron and Hermione start dating then.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to go through like all the specific things just off the fly, but the thing that I think is most interesting is that it would change their dynamic a lot come Deathly Hallows, specifically when they're out camping.
Especially when they're out camping and when Ron leaves.
If Ron would leave.
I think that's the big thing that would change, is that Ron wouldn't leave because there wouldn't be this lingering like question in his mind of whether or not Hermione liked him more than Harry or something.
Yes, because it does seem like a lot of like what Ron is struggling with is that like Harry is kind of like the point of why they're out there, which means that Hermione is giving Harry like a lot of specific attention that has nothing to do with romantic feelings.
Right.
It's just sort of like that is the objective, but then being even further hampered by the Horcrux, Ron feels even worse,
Right.
and like jealousy grows into resentment, and like all of the other things that sort of like kind of come from that.
And it's like, I guess it's possible the Horcrux could have still like corrupted him a little bit in this regard, but it feels like it would be a little bit. I don't feel like the Horcrux would have such an easy time doing that, because like the lesson you learn over and over and over in Harry Potter is that like love is the strongest magic. So like if they're in love and like open about it with each other, I don't feel like Voldemort's brand of magic is going to separate them.
No, I would agree with you completely, because I think even like when they open the locket, it says like, "I've seen your heart, Ronald Weasley." Like, and it's like basically, like always chosen second, like, friend to the boy, the girl you love would rather be with, and like the son your mother would rather have.
Right.
Like, it's like it's poking all the real pain points. But I think that like if Ron is just proper bolstered by him and Hermione having like a relationship, and it's just out in the open, then it just functions better. So
Right.
yeah, I don't think that Ron ends up leaving in the first place. But then it's even interesting because then he's there for like Godric's Hollow.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
And then
like-
that's be really difficult to know how things would change.
Yes.
Like, would Ron being there mean that like Harry's wand doesn't break, or that they like kill Nagini, or that they just don't go up there with Bathilda Backshot at all, or
Right. Yeah. All really fair questions. Yeah. It's like, cause that's the other thing too, that within all of a sudden there's like an additional layer of like liability as
Right.
well, where it's like, could somebody have gotten hurt
oh,
or
like
killed?
could Ron have died? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like, then like on some level, only having two of them there ended up maybe making it like less risky because it's less targets, even though obviously Harry's the key one, but it's, getting everybody out safely seems like a greater challenge all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But even that, I can't help but feel like you make the best point, which is that like, I want to think that love only helps.
Yes. I think that.
Is it's like there's no world where it's gonna like go counter to the process.
Yeah. So like I'm trying to think what Ron learns when he's out. That's when he like picks up another wand from the Snatcher. So he kind of learns what the Snatchers are. He learns about the taboo. He learns about Potter Watch.
Yep.
He figures out more about the Deluminator, but they don't really use that again. So I don't know if that matters so much.
Yeah, I mean, maybe is there anything else that Dumbledore could have left Ron other than the Deluminator? If the point of the Deluminator is to like,
oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
would he have even left him to the Deluminator?
yeah.
Good question. Good question.
Is there any? I left you this basilisk fang, trusting he'll know what to do with it.
You'll get it when the time comes.
Right. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. I think that's probably the next step that would happen, because if like I think basically Dumbledore knows the nature that like is the way in which Ron will be afflicted, and I mean it works out so well because you get that perfect line like he must have always known I was going to leave, and then Harry's like he always knew you were going to come back,
Right.
Like and it works out really well that he's got it, but maybe he doesn't need it.
Yeah, maybe he wouldn't need it. You're right, because Dumbledore would have already known they were together. So I don't think maybe he doesn't leave him the Deluminator then. That's interesting. What could he have left him? Like, here's my wand. Can you imagine?
Ron's like, no way,
No way.
wicked.
That'd be insane. He just gives him the Elder Wand.
It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, I can't see that happening.
Yeah.
I don't know what else he would leave him. He can't. I was gonna. It was maybe like Fawkes or something, but he can't do that because Fawkes just leaves. Dumbledore has so many little instruments and stuff, but they're never really super described. It's like, you get the pensive. Probably not.
The pensive. Oh my gosh. I know.
Can you imagine?
It's like, again, probably not his to give.
Probably not his to give.
Belongs to the school. Okay. I think this might require a little bit more thinking, but I think it's a fascinating question, because what we're changing is when Ron gets a book on how to interact with like
Hermione.
women. Yeah. Hermione.
Probably just better at girls.
Yeah. What if Ron were better with girls? You won't believe what comes next.
Yeah. Voldemort wins.
No.
No.
No shot. No shot. Great question, though. Thank you so much for tuning in, and happy birthday.
Yes.
As of recording, it's just August 12th here, so that means that your birthday was just yesterday as far as we're concerned. Thank you for leaving your review. To everybody else out there who's listening in, if you would like to go and leave us a review on all of the various platforms and ask us a question along with it, we'll try to answer it in a future episode of the show.
We sure shall. But otherwise, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Make sure you join us next week for Chapter 2, A Peck of Owls, here on Through the Griffin Door.
Today's episode was edited by Ethan Edghill. Vaishon Brandon does our art. Catherine Stein is our production manager, and the show is hosted by me and Jonathan Carlin.